Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're the place where we really get into these fascinating topics, pulling out the most useful, the most insightful bits for you, our listener. And today, wow, we are tackling a question that almost sounds like a secret, whispered in the dark. What if your brain could actually learn English even while you're fast asleep? Sounds, well, incredible, right? Almost like magic.
It really does have that feel to it, doesn't it?
Yeah, and look, for so many of us trying to learn a language, especially English, it can feel like this endless uphill battle sometimes. You've probably been there just totally exhausted after a long day, or maybe your schedule is just crammed, absolutely packed, and you end up feeling, well, just stuck with your progress.
That feeling of hitting a plateau, yeah. Very common.
You try classes, you try apps, textbooks, always searching for that new idea, that different angle, something that might finally give you results, but without adding even more pressure.
And that's when this idea often pops up, right? Learn English while you sleep.
Exactly. It surfaces like this glimmer of hope.
It's definitely an idea that seems almost too easy at first glance.
Yeah.
A bit fantastical, I agree. But our main source for this deep dive today, the really detailed work from Bookish English, it actually suggests that science has some, well, pretty interesting things to say about this whole concept.
Okay, so not just myth then.
Not entirely.
Yeah.
Our job today, our mission, is really to cut through all that noise, to get past what often feels like just another internet myth. We want to uncover the real experiments, the actual mechanisms behind what happens when our brains encounter language while we're resting.
Right. So we're going to peel back the layers, look inside your sleeping brain, what is really going on in there when your body's completely at rest, and why does it remember some things so clearly, but other things just vanish?
And maybe the biggest question, why is sleep not just a break from learning, but potentially one of the best things you can actually do to help your English grow?
Yeah. We're moving from, the world of dreams and wishful thinking
straight into the world of science. From those internet myths to the actual solid experiments, we're going deep.
Let's do it. Hashtag the allure of learning while you sleep. Okay, let's paint this picture. It might feel really familiar to you listening right now. It's been a long day, maybe a tough one. You're tired, really tired. Your eyes are getting heavy. And as you start drifting off, maybe your phone or a little speaker beside the bed is playing the soft murmur of English words. Gentle sentences, just repeating quietly in the background.
You're not really awake, not focusing consciously?
No, not at all.
What?
But there's this idea, this kind of persistent belief, isn't there, that somehow your brain is still tuned in, still listening, still absorbing.
It's such an appealing idea, and it really clicks for so many English learners, mainly because, well, people are tired. Life is busy. They genuinely want to speak well. They want that fluency. But finding the time, finding the mental energy for more, traditional study, it's hard.
Really hard. So the thought of learning while you're actually resting, gaining something while you're completely passive.
It feels like a gift, doesn't it? Or, yeah, like you said, magic, a shortcut to something that usually takes so much conscious effort.
And it's funny, this idea isn't even new, is it? It's been around for ages.
Not at all. You look back to the 1950s, in America, in Europe, too.
Yeah.
There's a real buzz around these things called sleep learning machines. They even had a fancy name for the concept. Hypnopedia.
Hypnopedia. Right. So these machines, they just played recordings all night?
Basically, yes.
Yeah.
Repeating sentences, information, people use them for all sorts of things. Tried to learn languages, obviously, but also, believe it or not, trying to quit smoking. Things like that.
Wow. So the belief was?
The core idea back then was that the brain was somehow just open at night. Like sleep was this secret channel.
Yeah.
A way to just pour information straight in without any conscious filter.
Okay, but the science back then wasn't buying it.
Not really, no. The scientific community pretty much shut it down. They argued quite strongly, no, that's not possible. Their reasoning was that sleep was just too deep. The brain, in that state, they thought, couldn't actively process and learn completely new things.
So they called it fake science.
Pretty much. And the whole idea kind of faded from the public eye for a long time.
Until the internet came along.
Exactly. The internet changed everything. Suddenly, boom, thousands of YouTube videos popping up.
All claiming it works. Success stories.
Testimonials, people saying, yes, this worked for me. And it just completely reignited that hope that maybe, just maybe, there was something real to it after all.
So why? Why do people want to believe in this so much? What's the deep pull?
I think the answer is actually quite simple. Learning English is hard work, let's be honest.
It is.
Getting truly fluent. It's not easy. Learners put in the time, they go to classes, they study grammar, they do all the things they're told to do, and yet they still often feel tired, they feel stuck, like they're not getting the results they want.
Yeah, that frustration is real.
So sleep learning offers this promise of a different way, a smarter way maybe, a way to learn while you rest, seemingly without all that hard graft. It feels like a blessing.
But, okay, here's the crucial point we need to establish right now based on modern science.
Yep.
Sleep isn't magic.
Definitely not magic.
But it is incredibly powerful. Your brain is absolutely not switched off when you sleep. It's working hard.
It's incredibly active. It's cleaning. It's organizing. It's consolidating memories. It's doing vital work. Modern neuroscience is crystal clear on this.
Right. So the big question for us today, the core of this deep dive, is this. Can you actually put new English words, new concepts into your brain while you're asleep? Let's find out. Okay, let's think about that moment. We all know it. You close your eyes, your breathing gets deeper, slower, you start to drift off. On the surface, it feels like everything just stops, right? Your arms and legs relax, eyelids are shut, conscious thoughts just fade away. It feels peaceful still, almost like nothing's happening.
But inside your head, inside your skull, something amazing is starting. Your brain, it doesn't sleep like your body does, not at all. It stays incredibly active. It's working silently, yes, but it's working in this beautiful hidden way.
So it's not just resting.
Far from it. It's busy with really sophisticated processes. Things like synaptic pruning, basically tidying up connections between neurons, making them more efficient, and neural replay, where it kind of reactivates patterns from your day, strengthening the important ones. It's like sorting through all the information you took in.
Deciding what to keep and what to, well, throw away.
Exactly. It's incredibly selective. And this happens in stages, right?
Yeah.
Sleep isn't just one long block.
No, you cycle through different stages. There are, 4 main ones that repeat?
That's right. You've got light sleep stages, then deeper sleep, and then that really special stage called REM sleep.
Yeah.
Rapid eye movement.
REM sleep. That's when we dream most vividly, isn't it?
Yes, your brain is incredibly active during REM, almost like when you're awake in some ways. You're dreaming, imagining. But your body is mostly paralyzed, thankfully. This stage is, well, it's part of the secret.
Okay, so how does this relate to memory and language? You mentioned the brain sorting information.
Right. So throughout these sleep cycles, your brain is working intensely with memory. It takes the experiences, the information, the memories from your day, and it starts this process of deciding what's important, what needs to be kept, what's just noise.
So it's like a highly efficient librarian then, filing away the important stuff, organizing it, and discarding the rest.
That's a great analogy. And yes, this absolutely includes language.
How so? Give us an example.
Okay, let's say you spent some time today learning maybe 10 new English words.
Right.
As you sleep tonight, your brain's memory systems kick in. They're not thinking like you do when awake, but they evaluate those words. Were they linked to an emotion? Did you hear them in a story that grabbed you? Did they feel useful for something you want to do? Were they reviewed actively before bed?
So context and relevance matter.
Hugely. If those words triggered a stronger neural response, or were clearly tagged as important through repetition or emotion, the brain is much more likely to say, okay, keep this one, strengthen this connection. If not, they might just fade away, get pruned.
And this whole process has a name.
Yes, it's called memory consolidation.
Yeah.
It's the biological mechanism that turns those fragile, temporary memories you formed during the day into strong, stable, long-term knowledge you can actually recall later.
Which is why sleep is so crucial for learning anything, not just language.
Absolutely. It's not a pause in learning. It's an essential part of the learning process itself. You can study hard all day, but it's during sleep that a lot of that learning really gets cemented.
That explains why sometimes you struggle with something one day,
Uh-huh.
and then the next morning after a good night's sleep, it just clicks. It makes sense.
Exactly. Your brain was literally working on it overnight, organizing, connecting the dots.
Okay, this is fascinating. So, if the brain is already doing this memory work while we sleep, can we nudge it? Can we help it along? Can we maybe feed it a bit more English while it's in that state? Or at least remind it of what we learned earlier to make the memory stronger?
That is the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And the answer from the research seems to be a cautious, nuanced yes. If you hear the same words, the same phrases, the same story again while you're sleeping,
The same ones.
yes, the same ones you learned while awake, then your brain can actually strengthen its memory of them. But, and this is absolutely the most critical point, you must have encountered that material consciously first when you were awake.
Ah, okay. So sleep doesn't teach you something brand new from scratch.
No. Its power here lies in strengthening what you've already started learning. That difference is incredibly important. It's vital for setting realistic expectations.
Got it. So practically speaking, what does this mean for someone learning English?
It means if you, say, listen to a short English story or practice a few new phrases right before you go to sleep, your brain is kind of primed to work on that material. Then, if you play that same audio softly while you sleep,
The exact same story or phrases.
yes, your brain might re-engage with it,
Yeah.
not actively analyzing, but there's a recognition, like a background whisper almost.
Yeah.
And that gentle re-exposure, that little nudge of familiarity, it really can help cement the memory.
But you mentioned the brain chooses what to keep. It's not just a tape recorder.
Definitely not. It's selective. It prioritizes things that feel relevant, things with an emotional tag, things that seem useful. That's why stories often work better than just lists of random words.
Because they have context, emotion, meaning.
Precisely. The connection you feel to the material makes a huge difference in whether your sleeping brain decides to invest energy in consolidating it.
Okay, so we often get caught in this tug of war, don't we? Some people hear sleep learning and immediately think, fake, that's nonsense. Others hear it and think, magic, this is the secret.
Right. The two extremes. But science, as you always say, isn't really about belief, is it? It's about proof.
Exactly. It's about testing things, running experiments, finding out what actually happens. What's the truth?
So scientists did exactly that. They designed studies to figure out if the brain can actually learn or reinforce learning during sleep. They'd bring people into labs, quiet rooms,
Hook them up to machines.
using EEG electroencephalography to monitor their brain waves, watching closely to see when they were truly asleep and what kind of sleep they were in.
Okay, so what did they find in these experiments?
Well, in one quite famous type of study, researchers would play pairs of words to people while they were sleeping. Things like dog bicycle or chair window, completely unrelated pairs.
While the person was totally asleep.
Completely unconscious, yes,
Yeah.
showing all the brainwave signs of sleep.
And then what happened when they woke up?
This is the interesting part. When they woke up and were tested, maybe asked which word went with dog, a significant number of them guessed bicycle, more often than you'd expect just by chance.
Wow. So even though they weren't aware of hearing it?
Somehow, a subtle connection was formed. It wasn't perfect recall, but it was better than random guessing, indicating some level of processing.
What else? Were there other kinds of tests?
Yes, another line of research used simpler sounds, like just playing distinct high or low tones while people slept.
And the brain reacted.
It did. Again, the person didn't wake up, but the EEG showed a small electrical response in the brain, like a tiny flicker acknowledging the sound. It showed the brain was definitely registering auditory input. It was listening, even in sleep.
Okay, but those are simple associations or reactions. What about actual language learning?
Right, that leads us to probably the most crucial study, the one that really clarified things. Researchers in Switzerland did an experiment with foreign language words.
Okay.
They played these foreign words to people while they slept. But, and here's the absolute key detail, these weren't random new words.
Ah. They were words the people had already seen or studied before bed.
Exactly. One group heard these familiar words replayed during sleep. Another group, the control group, didn't.
And the results?
The results were clear and significant. The group that heard the words repeated during sleep remembered more of those words the next morning. Their memory was demonstrably stronger.
That's huge. So sleep helped, but only when the brain already knew the words.
Precisely.
Yeah.
Acted as a powerful memory booster for information already introduced. It didn't teach the words from scratch. That study was a real turning point.
Were there studies involving things like music, too?
Yes, there were. Some experiments played relaxing classical music during sleep, sometimes alongside stories or lessons the participants had learned earlier. People in those groups often reported feeling calmer when they woke up. And interestingly, some did show better memory recall.
So the music itself wasn't teaching.
It seems not. The idea is that the calming music might have created a more optimal brain state, more relaxed, more peaceful, which perhaps made the memory consolidation process more efficient for the other material they were exposed to.
Okay, so we have evidence for strengthening existing memories. What about the attempts to teach totally new stuff only during sleep? Like brand new vocabulary lists or grammar rules?
Those experiments pretty consistently failed. When scientists tried to introduce completely novel information purely during sleep,
People just didn't remember it.
largely, no. It was as if the sleeping brain just tuned it out, ignored it. Because, as we've established, the sleeping brain's main job seems to be organizing and strengthening what's already there, not taking on the heavy lifting of brand new learning. That's for when you're awake.
Right. So if we boil all this scientific evidence down, what's the clear takeaway?
The clear takeaway is sleep definitely helps your memory grow stronger. If you study something before bed, sleep helps lock it in. And playing that same information softly while you sleep can boost that memory consolidation effect even further.
But
And it's a big but, you cannot learn something completely new from zero just by sleeping. It doesn't work that way.
which means sleep learning is not a shortcut.
Not a shortcut, not a magic button, not the answer if you're looking to avoid studying altogether.
Okay. But if we flip that, it is a tool, right? A helpful tool if you use it correctly.
Absolutely. It's a tool and potentially a very useful one. The right way to use it is clear. You study actively during the day, you get good quality sleep at night. And maybe during that sleep, you gently play audio of English stories or phrases you already know, the ones you studied earlier.
So the brain hears it and kind of whispers.
Ah, yes, I remember this one. Let's strengthen that connection. That's the real power. Not learning from scratch, but making the learning you did do deeper, stronger, easier to access tomorrow.
So the advice is, don't just play random stuff hoping it sinks in. Don't try learning complex grammar at 2 a.m.
Please don't. Instead, learn something small and manageable in the evening. A short story, a few key phrases, a simple podcast episode you've heard before. Then sleep well. And maybe, just maybe, playing that same audio softly will help your brain hold on to it a little bit better for the morning. That's the realistic potential.
Okay, we've dug into the science, we've looked at the experiments. Now, let's tackle the big one. The question I know is on many listeners' minds. Can I actually become fluent in English while I sleep? Can this really make me speak better?
Right, the ultimate goal. And the answer is, well, it's precise, and it requires understanding the limits. Let's be really clear about what sleep learning absolutely cannot do.
Okay, lay it out for us.
First, you cannot learn grammar rules effectively in your sleep. Grammar requires your full, conscious attention. You need to compare structures, notice small differences, think analytically about how sentences work.
Things you do when you're awake and focused.
Exactly. Trying to absorb a complex grammar explanation while you're asleep. Your brain is likely to just ignore it. It's too detailed, too abstract for that state. So no spontaneous grammar acquisition happens overnight.
And the big one, fluency.
You also cannot become fluent just by sleeping. Fluency isn't something passively absorbed. It's built through active practice.
Through actually speaking.
Yes. Through using the language, making mistakes, having real conversations, coordinating your mouth, tongue, breath, all of that. Sleep learning simply cannot provide that active, dynamic practice.
It's like that analogy you used thinking you can learn to ride a bike just by dreaming about it.
Precisely. You can dream all night about cycling perfectly, But until you actually get on the bike and practice balancing and pedaling, you won't be able to ride. Your body needs the real-world practice. Same with language.
Okay, so no grammar rules, no instant fluency, that's clear. But what can it do? What are the genuine superpowers if used correctly?
Well, number one, it can help you reinforce vocabulary. You can remember words better, especially words you've already put some effort into learning.
How does that work again?
During sleep, as your brain consolidates memories, it revisits those words. If a word felt interesting, if it was clear, and especially if you hear it again softly during sleep, the brain is more likely to strengthen that memory trace, make it more permanent, easier to recall later. Science shows this quite consistently.
Okay, vocabulary reinforcement. What else?
Second, it can improve your passive listening familiarity. If you listen to English audio during sleep again, audio you've heard before, your brain can become more comfortable with the sounds, the rhythm, the flow of the language.
So not necessarily understanding every word, but just getting used to how English sounds.
Exactly. It makes the language feel less foreign, more familiar on an auditory level. It's a slow, subtle improvement, but it's real. Your brain starts to recognize the patterns more easily.
And you mentioned confidence earlier, too.
Yes. Thirdly, it can build confidence. When your brain hears English night after night, gently, without pressure, the language starts to feel normal, less intimidating, less scary.
And that feeling of comfort helps when you actually need to speak.
It really can. It sends a subconscious signal. Hey, you know this sound, it's familiar, don't panic. That reduction in anxiety can be a huge boost for speaking.
So let's recap the positives. Better vocabulary recall for words already studied, increased familiarity with the sounds and rhythm of English, and a boost in confidence by making the language feel less foreign.
That's the smart way to view it. Sleep learning isn't the main teacher, it's the helper. It's that soft voice in the dark, that gentle reminder, that little hand holding onto the memory so it doesn't slip away.
It's so important to frame it right. I see students get excited, try it wrong, expect miracles, and then just give up, feeling even more discouraged.
That's the mistake we really want you to avoid. Use sleep learning as part of your overall plan, not the entire plan.
So combine it with your daytime learning. Listen to those short, familiar stories or phrases before bed. Play them softly during sleep, and stick with the same material for several nights. Let the words sink in gradually like gentle rain. Okay, let's get super practical now. Think about the end of your day. You're tired, work or study is done, you're finally in bed, the room's quiet, your eyes are feeling heavy. That specific time, maybe the last 20 minutes or so before you actually fall asleep, it holds a special kind of power, doesn't it? What you do right then can really affect how your brain processes English overnight.
It's absolutely key. Effective sleep learning isn't just about the audio playing while you're unconscious. It starts before that.
Yeah.
It's heavily influenced by what your brain saw, heard, and felt just before you closed your eyes.
So how do we make the most of those crucial pre-sleep minutes? What's the first step?
The absolute first step is to create calm. Calm your body, calm your mind. This means no stress if possible. Definitely put the phone away, no scrolling through notifications, no bright screens. Minimize noise.
Why is that calm state so important?
Because if your brain is still buzzing with messages, images, the frantic energy of the day, it's just not receptive. It won't listen effectively. It won't consolidate well. It needs to be quiet, calm, like that peaceful room with the open window we talked about.
How can people achieve that? Maybe some deep breaths.
Yes, simple, deep breathing helps immensely. Just sit on your bed for a few minutes, close your eyes, breathe slowly, let the day's tension go. Find that sense of peace. That calm state is the best possible state for memory to work its magic.
Okay, mind calm down. Now, what about the actual English content we choose for this pre-sleep review? You said it's critical.
Absolutely critical. Do not try to cram in something new and difficult right before bed. That will just feel like work, maybe even cause anxiety, which is the opposite of what we want.
Pick something familiar.
Yes. Pick something you already studied earlier that day. Something that feels comfortable, easy. Maybe it's that short story, those few vocabulary phrases, a simple dialogue. Keep it short and clear.
Like the sentences, I get up at 7 a.m., I brush my teeth.
Exactly. If you read those, maybe listen to them once or twice during the day, then revisit them now, read them again gently, or better yet, listen to the audio recording of them.
And the volume should be.
Soft.
Yeah.
Not loud, not fast. Soft, slow, gentle. The brain loves repetition, remember?
Great, the watering the plant analogy.
Exactly. Studying during the day is the first watering. This gentle pre-sleep review is like a second, light watering. And then sleep itself provides the deeper soak.
Do you have any personal tips or tools you use for this?
I do, actually. Yeah. I keep a small, simple notebook right by my bed. Every night, I just jot down maybe 3 to 5 phrases from my day that really stuck with me, the ones that had some feeling attached.
Not just random words, but phrases that meant something.
Right. Maybe don't give up, or that was interesting, or I'll try that tomorrow. Something with a bit of personal connection. Then I close the notebook, get comfortable, and play an audio of those same phrases, or maybe a short story that contains them. Sometimes I even record my own voice saying them.
So you don't need fancy apps or anything?
Not at all. Simple tools work best. Your phone, a voice recorder app, YouTube for slow stories, free podcasts. The focus should be on calm, slow, clear audio that you're already familiar with.
What about adding background music here in the pre-sleep phase?
Soft, instrumental background music can help relax the brain further, making it more receptive. Just make sure it's calming music, nothing with fast beats or strong emotions that could accidentally wake you up more. No lyrics either, usually.
And a reminder, this isn't about hard studying right before sleep, is it?
No, definitely not. The goal is gentle reviewing, just lightly touching the material again. Think of it as tucking your English in for the night.
One last tip you mentioned, the smile.
Yes. It sounds a bit strange, maybe, especially when you're tired, but consciously put a little smile on your face as you listen to your English review. Positive emotions actually help strengthen memory formation. It tells your brain, this is good, this is safe, remember this.
So really, preparation is everything.
It lays the foundation. If you study well during the day and then ease into this calm, gentle review before bed, you're setting the stage perfectly for sleep to become that slow, patient, effective teacher.
Okay, the preparation is done, you're calm, you've done your gentle review, now you're lying in bed, lights off. And softly, almost imperceptibly, English starts playing. This is it. Passive listening, sleep learning in action.
This is where the reinforcement happens.
But the big question remains, what exactly should be playing through those earphones or that speaker? We know it needs to be familiar, but let's get more specific.
It's crucial because a raw audio can be ineffective or even disruptive. You absolutely want to avoid anything too fast, too complex, or honestly just too boring. Your sleeping brain isn't primed for a lecture. It needs simple, soft, and familiar English, something it recognizes.
So what are the top recommendations? What works best?
Number 1, as we've touched on, slow English stories. Stories are powerful. They have emotion, rhythm, meaning. Your brain connects with narratives.
And specifically, stories you've already heard.
Yes. Ideally, stories you listened to earlier that day, or even ones you know really well, where you already know the ending. That familiarity is key. As it plays softly, your brain pieces things together, remembering the feeling, the sounds, the flow, even if it's not consciously analyzing grammar.
Okay, slow, familiar stories. What's next?
Second, daily phrase loops. Short, simple, often positive phrases repeated gently. Things like, I am learning. English is becoming easier. I speak more confidently.
Like affirmations.
Exactly. You can find these online. Or, as I mentioned, record your own voice, saying phrases that are meaningful to you. Loop them so they repeat quietly. This works on memory, but also deeply on confidence, embedding those positive beliefs.
That makes sense. What else?
Third option, English with background music. Some resources mix simple English dialogue or narration with very soft, calming background music, like ambient sounds or gentle instrumental tracks.
Does the music help?
It can make the listening experience smoother, more relaxing. It keeps the brain calm. But again, the music must be very subtle. No strong beats, no dramatic shifts, nothing jarring. Think spa music, not a symphony.
And you mentioned a really powerful technique earlier, shadowing before sleep.
Yes. Number 4, and maybe the most impactful,
Mm-hmm.
Do a very short shadowing practice, just 2-3 minutes, of a specific audio clip right before you go to sleep.
So listen and repeat immediately.
Right. Then play that exact same audio clip softly as your sleep audio. This combination active engagement followed by passive reinforcement sends a very strong signal to your brain. Pay attention to this. This is important. It hits both short-term and long-term memory pathways. Very effective.
Okay, those are great options. Now, what should we definitely avoid playing during sleep?
Definitely avoid news reports. Too fast, often stressful topics, lots of dense information. Bad idea.
Makes sense.
Avoid complicated podcasts or lectures that require intense focus even when you're awake. Your sleeping brain can't handle that cognitive load.
Right.
Avoid long grammar lessons. Your brain wants rhythm and familiarity during sleep, not analytical rules.
And the golden rule.
Avoid anything new, anything your brain hasn't encountered before while you were awake. Sleep is for review, not for initial learning.
Got it. What about volume and timing? How loud should it be, and for how long?
Volume needs to be low, very low, just audible, like a soft whisper. Not silent, but definitely not loud enough to disturb your sleep or pull you out of deeper stages. The goal is gentle background reinforcement, not an intrusion.
And duration? All night?
Generally, no. Playing audio all night can sometimes interfere with sleep quality. Using a timer for maybe 30 to 60 minutes is usually plenty. Your brain does most of the consolidation work relatively early in the sleep cycle anyway. After the timer stops, let yourself have pure, quiet rest.
One last point, the voice itself. Does it matter whose voice is speaking?
It can make a difference, yes. Use a voice you find calming and pleasant. It could be your own recorded voice, which can be very effective. Or a narrator you like, someone with a soothing tone. The right voice helps you relax and makes the brain more receptive. Voice is personal.
Okay, so summing up the audio guide. Keep it simple, keep it slow, make sure it's repeated, and above all, make sure it's familiar. All right, we've covered the science, the why it works, the what to listen to. Now let's bring it all together into something really simple and real, a routine. Because knowing the theory is one thing, but having a practical plan you could actually follow day in, day out, that's what makes the difference. And this isn't about adding loads more work to your plate. It's about working smarter, doing just enough so your English can grow kind of naturally, without pressure, without pain, even while you're resting. Let's map out what a typical day using this approach might look like.
Okay, let's start with the morning, say 7-8 a.m., light English touch. When you first wake up, your mind is relatively clear. Before diving into emails or the news, just give yourself 5 minutes of soft English. Maybe listen to that slow story again while you make coffee. Or read just 2 or 3 simple sentences aloud from your notebook, the same ones from your pre-sleep review.
So not a heavy study session.
No, not at all. Think of it as a gentle wake-up call for your English brain. Just a light breakfast. Keep it short and sweet.
Okay. Then, midday, around 12 to 1 p.m., repeat once. Find another tiny slot, maybe just 5 minutes, to touch that same content again.
Exactly. Listen to the same short story snippet or the same few phrases, maybe while you eat lunch or on a quick walk. You don't need to analyze it, just hear it again.
Why this repetition?
Repetition is the absolute key to strengthening those memory pathways. Each little exposure tells your brain, yep, this is still relevant. It's simple, but powerful.
Makes sense. Then, evening, maybe 5, 7 p.m., light practice. Here you can spend a little longer, maybe 10, 15 minutes, still with the same content.
Right. But now you can be a bit more active with it. Speak the sentences aloud. Try shadowing the audio for a minute or two. Write the key phrases down again. This is your main conscious review for the day.
Still gentle, though. Still gentle? You're just building that muscle quietly. Maybe record yourself saying a few lines and listen back. Smile. It's about reinforcing, not straining. Telling your brain, okay, really lock this one in.
Now, the night. 9:10 p.m. Prepare for sleep learning. You said this is the most powerful part.
It really sets the stage. Wind down, no bright screens, no stressful news, no hard studying. Sit quietly, maybe do some slow breathing. Then take out your notebook or your chosen audio. Read your favorite sentences one last time or listen to the audio gently for a few minutes. Remember, no new content here. Just revisit the familiar and smile again. Tell your brain, I like this language. It feels good.
And finally, bedtime, 10:11 p.m. Play sleep audio, time to lie down.
Yes. Get comfortable. Start playing that exact same English audio, the story, the phrases, the podcast snippet.
Very low volume. Use comfy earphones if you need them, but only if they don't disturb you. Set that timer for 30, 60 minutes if you like. Then just let go, drift off. Your brain hears it softly in the background. It recognizes what it heard during the day. It reinforces those connections, maybe even weaves them into your dreams. That's the cycle.
It sounds manageable, but what about people with really crazy schedules? Any super quick fixes?
Absolutely. If morning is impossible, just whisper one English sentence while brushing your teeth. Done. If your day is super stressful, maybe use listening to your familiar English audio for 5 minutes as a calming break instead of scrolling social media. If you're exhausted at night, skip the active evening review. Just do the pre-sleep listen and play the sleep audio. Doing something is better than nothing.
And the key is sticking with the same content for how long?
Aim for 3 to 5 days with the same short piece of content before switching. Let it really sink in deep. And suitable content could be a 1-2 minute slow story, 5 simple phrases, maybe in your own voice, a gentle podcast episode you enjoy, or a loop of vocabulary words you already learned.
It really doesn't sound hard when you lay it out like that. It's soft, it's light, it feels like it could work like water, just quietly shaping your English mind.
Exactly. And remember, you don't need to do everything perfectly every single day. Just do something. Every small, consistent action counts. English grows in rhythm, gently.
Okay, we've got the ideal routine mapped out. But, even with the best intentions, it's easy to make mistakes, right? Especially when something sounds as appealing as sleep learning. I see it happen. Learners get really excited, think this is it, maybe play audio all night long, expecting miracles. And then after a week, they feel confused, disappointed because they're not suddenly fluent, and they just give up.
It's such a common scenario, and it's a real shame because sleep learning can help,
Yeah.
but only if you avoid these typical pitfalls. Let's break them down so you know exactly what not to do.
Okay, mistake number 1.
Using new or difficult content. This is probably the biggest one. People choose a podcast they've never heard, a fast news report, a complex topic. Thinking more challenge equals more learning.
But we know the sleeping brain can't learn new things from scratch.
Exactly. It needs to recognize the words first. If it's completely new or too hard, the brain just tunes it out like background noise. It's ineffective.
The fix.
Fix. Use familiar content only, stuff you've already listened to or studied while awake. Keep it short, keep it simple. Sleep is for review.
Okay, mistake number 2.
Playing the audio all night long. The logic seems to be more hours equals more learning.
Sounds reasonable, but
But it can actually harm your sleep quality. Your brain needs periods of deep, quiet rest. Constant audio, even soft audio, can keep your sleep shallow, lead to micro-awakenings, and make you feel tired the next day. Less restorative sleep means less effective learning overall.
the fix for that one?
Fix. Use a timer. Set it for 30, 60 minutes. That's usually enough time for the reinforcement effect. Then let silence take over for deep rest.
Right. Mistake number 3.
Changing the audio every single night. People get bored or think variety is better, so they switch from a story one night into phrases the next, then a different podcast.
Why is that bad?
It breaks the power of repetition. The brain needs to hear the same thing multiple times to build strong, lasting memory traces. Constant switching means the brain never gets to deepen the learning for any specific content.
So the fix is consistency.
Fix. Choose one story or one set of phrases and stick with it for 3 to 5 nights before changing. Let it really embed itself in your memory first.
Got it. Mistake number 4.
Using audio that's too fast, noisy, or emotional. Think about those high-energy YouTube videos with loud music, super fast talking, maybe dramatic content.
Not good for sleep.
Terrible for sleep. Your sleeping brain is sensitive. It wants peace, not noise. Loud sounds, fast talking, strong emotions can be jarring, stressful, or just confusing for the sleeping mind.
The fix?
Fix. Choose calm voices, slow speed, neutral emotions, and no loud or distracting music. Think clear, soft English, like a gentle bedtime story for your brain.
Makes sense. Mistake number 5. This feels like a big one.
Expecting magic.
Mm.
Believing that just playing audio while you sleep will make you fluent without any daytime effort, without speaking, without reading, without practice.
The magic button idea.
Exactly. This is perhaps the biggest misunderstanding. Sleep learning is not magic. It's not the whole solution. It's a helper, a supplement, a part of a much bigger plan.
And the fix is realistic expectations.
Fix. Keep learning actively during the day. Use sleep learning specifically for review and reinforcement. Let your day learning and your night reinforcement work together as a team.
Okay, one more. Mistake number 6.
Not actually enjoying the content you choose. People might pick something dry or boring, thinking, well, I'm asleep, it doesn't matter if I like it.
But you said the brain remembers feelings.
It does. Your brain is smart. Even subconsciously, if the material feels dull or irrelevant, it's less likely to prioritize storing it. Positive feelings create stronger memories.
So the fix.
Fix. Choose content you genuinely find interesting or pleasant.
Yeah.
Stories that make you smile, phrases that feel encouraging, topics you actually care about. That positive connection helps the learning stick.
So avoiding these pitfalls really boils down to being smart and consistent, not just doing more.
Precisely. Yeah. It's not about volume. It's about quality and strategy. Keep it simple, keep it soft, keep it steady, and use familiar, enjoyable content. That's how you make it work.
Okay, we've navigated the science, the methods, the mistakes. Let's circle back to the ultimate goal, the big question that drives so many learners. Can this whole sleep learning thing actually help me speak English better?
You want to feel confident when you talk, right? You want the words to just come out without that struggle, that hesitation, that feeling of searching for the right phrase. Can listening while you sleep contribute to that?
Yes. Emphatically yes. But, and it's a crucial but probably not in the direct way you might initially imagine, we need to understand the mechanism.
Okay, explain. How does it help speaking?
Well, think about what fluency really is. It's not just knowing grammar rules or having a huge vocabulary list stored away. True fluency feels more like automaticity.
Automaticity.
Yeah, it's when the right words and phrases just pop into your head and out of your mouth almost automatically, without you having to consciously search and construct every sentence piece by piece. Okay, I get that feeling.
And where does that automaticity come from? Fundamentally, it comes from deep familiarity. And that is where sleep learning makes its most powerful contribution to your speaking skills.
How so? How does listening while asleep build that familiarity for speaking?
Imagine listening to that same short story night after night, gently reinforcing it. Those sentence structures, those common phrases, those natural ways of connecting ideas, they become deeply embedded.
Not through active analysis, but just through repeated, relaxed exposure.
Exactly. Your brain absorbs the patterns, the rhythm, the music of the language on a subconscious level. Then when you're in a real conversation, needing to express a similar idea,
that familiar pattern is already there, ready to be used.
it's much closer to the surface. Your brain recognizes the situation and says, I have a template for this. It makes accessing the right language much faster, much more intuitive. It turns, I think I saw this phrase before, into, I know how to say this. That's the link to speaking.
And you mentioned confidence before. That must play a huge role in speaking, too.
A massive role. When English starts to feel normal because you hear it gently every night, that fear factor decreases. You feel calmer approaching a conversation. You're less likely to freeze up because the language itself feels less foreign and intimidating. That psychological shift is incredibly important for unlocking your willingness to speak.
So it helps build unconscious pattern recognition and boosts confidence by making the language feel familiar.
Yes, and it strengthens the memory of specific useful words and phrases you've already learned, making them easier to retrieve when you need them in conversation. It's like priming the pump.
But there's always but it won't make you speak if you don't actually practice speaking. Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Fundamentally correct. This is non-negotiable. Sleep learning prepares the ground. It puts the tools, the words, the patterns, the confidence within easier reach. But you still have to pick up those tools and use them. You must open your mouth, Practice articulating sounds, engage in conversations, make mistakes, and learn from them. Sleep learning will not move your tongue for you.
So it's a powerful support system, not a replacement for active practice.
Exactly. Think of it this way. Sleep learning loads the gun, but you still have to pull the trigger by actively speaking. It makes the speaking part easier because the resources are more readily available in your mind.
Okay. So the final verdict on can it help me speak better is
Yes, it can significantly contribute to better speaking, but indirectly. It does it by deepening your memory of vocabulary, embedding natural sentence patterns, increasing your overall familiarity and comfort with the sound of English, and boosting your confidence. These are all crucial ingredients for fluency.
it's about creating synergy between your day and night.
Perfect synergy. You actively learn and practice during the day. You gently review before bed. Your brain reinforces and consolidates during sleep. And the result? The next time you go to speak, it feels just that little bit easier, smoother, more natural. That's progress. That's the real power. Hashtag outro.
Okay, let's just take a moment now. If you would, just close your eyes for a second. Imagine your mind is like a small, quiet garden, peaceful. And all the English you encounter today, those new words, the phrases you like, the stories you heard, they're like tiny seeds planted in that garden soil. They're just sitting there, quiet, waiting. This is your own personal English night garden.
And as you drift off to sleep tonight, imagine a gentle process beginning in that garden. No harsh noise, no force, just a soft watering from your memory, a gentle light of recognition, a slow touch of consolidation. And those seeds, they feel that nurturing touch. They remember. They start to open up, stretch their roots a little deeper, becoming more truly a part of you, part of your linguistic landscape.
You might not wake up tomorrow and feel dramatically different. It's subtle. But deep inside, those roots are getting stronger. Maybe a word you learned yesterday feels clearer today. Maybe a sentence flows just a bit more easily off your tongue. That's the garden working. That's the quiet power of sleep. Your dreams aren't just random images. They can be these soft, fertile places where language grows. Not fast, not loud, but strong, quiet, and beautiful.
It really challenges that idea so many of us carry, doesn't it? That learning has to be hard, that it must be serious, loud, stressful work.
Yeah, that no pain, no gain mentality applied to language.
But look around. The strongest things in nature often grow in silence. Trees reach for the sky quietly. Flowers bloom in the stillness of the night. And your English can grow that way too. Listening to calm, familiar English as you sleep is like that gentle watering. It's peaceful repetition. It tells your brain, softly but persistently, this matters. Keep this. And your brain responds not with magic, but with something much better. Trust, calm, and growing strength.
You know, I see so many learners chasing quick fixes, cramming vocabulary, stressing over grammar. They burn out. But the learners who truly seem to flourish, the ones who reach that comfortable fluency, they often have this quality of patience. They grow slowly, naturally, and they value their sleep. They treat their brain with kindness.
And that's really the heart of what we've explored today. It's not about shortcuts or magic tricks. It's about understanding the truth of how your brain works. You study actively, you relax before bed, you listen softly during sleep, and you trust the process. You approach it with hope and maybe even a little bit of love for this language you're learning.
So tonight, as you get ready for sleep, try to let go of the pressure. Don't worry about remembering everything instantly. Don't stress about speaking perfectly tomorrow. Just choose that small, familiar story or those few comforting phrases. Play them softly. Offer that little smile. And trust your amazing brain to do its quiet, wonderful work while you rest.
Because tomorrow, your garden will be just a little greener.
If this deep dive sparked something for you, maybe gave you a new perspective or some hope, we'd love to hear about it. Leave a comment and share your own thoughts or experiences with sleep learning. And if you found this helpful, please do give it a like. It helps others find us, and maybe share it with a friend who's also looking for those simple, human, but powerful ways to grow their English. Thanks for joining us on the deep dive.